On the day of my wedding to Isabella, her maid of honor, Chloe Vane, led the charge to block the door to the bridal suite, turning what should have been a playful tradition into a shakedown. The envelopes aren't thick enough. Don't even think about taking the bride. The bridesmaids giggled, pressing their weight against the door to seal the crack tighter. Isabella sat on the bed, giggling along with them. What's the rush, Julian? What time is it anyway? The scheduled ceremony time had already passed. Behind me, the elders whispered, urging me to be patient. But Chloe doubled down, her voice shrill. One last sincerity fee, 100 grand, cash, or you don't get in. The final thread of my sanity snapped. I smashed my fist into Chloe's face. The sound of fracturing bone was crisp and sickening, plunging the entire room into a deathly silence. There is no wedding. I ripped the boutonniere from my lapel and threw it to the floor. Julian, the cash isn't heavy enough, and your sincerity is lacking. Don't dream of taking our Bella away. Chloe, her face caked in exquisite makeup, wedged herself into the door crack, her expression a mix of mockery and malice. Behind her, the other women in matching pink dresses jeered, pushing the door harder. Exactly. Mr. Big Shot CEO can't spare a little pocket change. Didn't you hear, Chloe? Envelopes. Big ones. The door rattled under their assault. I stood in my sharp black tuxedo, clutching a fistful of $100 bills now damp with sweat. Beside me, my best man and childhood friend, Carter Mills, looked uneasy. Jules, this is getting out of hand, Carter whispered. We've shoved 3 rounds of cash through there. That's nearly 20 grand. They're still blocking it. I took a deep breath, suppressing the rising heat in my chest, and forced a smile. I shoved a stack of bills through the crack. Chloe, ladies, give me a break. The ceremony starts in 10 minutes. The guests are waiting. Oh, Julian, getting impatient already? Chloe's voice spiked, theatrically exaggerated. She snatched the money with slow, deliberate fingers but didn't budge the door. This is barely an appetizer. Our Bella is a princess. You think we'd let her go that easily? Right, girls? Right. We haven't played enough games yet. Laughter exploded from inside. Push-ups. Julian, 50 push-ups first. Let's see the groom's stamina. Another bridesmaid shrieked. Do it. Do it. The chanting was deafening. My temple throbbed. I glanced at Carter, who shrugged helplessly. I gritted my teeth, tossed my jacket to him, loosened my tie, and dropped to the cold floor. 1, 2, 3. Sweat dripped from my temples. The laughter, the counting, the shutter clicks of phone cameras. It all pierced my ears like needles. I finished the 50, arms burning. Before I could catch my breath, Chloe's voice rang out again, dripping with sadistic glee. Not bad, Julian, but stamina isn't enough. We need sincerity. Girls, bring the prop. An apple tied to a string was dangled through the crack. Come on, groom. Eat this apple with the bride. No hands. The door opened just enough for me to see Isabella sitting on the bed in her white gown, looking like a porcelain doll. She was covering her mouth, laughing so hard her eyes were crescents, watching me be humiliated as if it were a circus act. Bella. I looked at her, my eyes pleading. It's late. Isabella met my gaze and laughed harder, waving her hand dismissively. Oh, Julian, relax. It's so fun. Just eat the apple. Don't disappoint Chloe. Her words were a bucket of ice water. Fun. She thought this was fun? Chloe shook the string. Hear that? Hurry up. I stared at the swinging apple, then at Isabella's cloudless smile. A cold rage began to climb my spine. I closed my eyes, suppressed the darkness, and leaned in. We ate the damned apple amidst the screeching laughter. Juice smeared my face. I straightened up, wiping my face roughly. Now, can you open the door? Chloe crossed her arms, leaning against the frame, the fake smile gone, replaced by greed. She extended her hand, wiggling fingers painted with red polish. Julian, she drawled, those were just warm-ups. Now, the final step, $100,000. Sincerity fee. Cash. Now, pay up, and you get the bride. Don't pay. She smirked. Then you wait until Bella thinks you're sincere enough. 100 grand? Carter shouted. Chloe, are you robbing a bank? This is insane. Insane. Chloe sneered. Who are you? This is our tradition. Julian is marrying a sterling. Is 100 grand too much for sincerity? Or, she looked at me provokingly. Is that all Bella is worth to you? Chloe, I growled, my voice trembling with suppressed fury. Enough. I paid the money, played the games, ate the apple. The time has passed. The elders are waiting. So let them wait. Chloe shrugged, looking back at Isabella. Right, Bella? Sincerity matters most. Isabella sat on the bed, swinging her feet in crystal heels, smiling that detached, entertained smile. Chloe's right, Julian. Don't be so cheap. She winked at me. In that instant, my blood froze. I looked at the woman I was about to marry. Her smile was a dull knife twisting in my heart. She didn't care. She didn't care about my dignity, my parents, or the guests. She just found it amusing. Julian, Julian. My father's anxious voice came from stairs. He, my mother, and Isabella's parents had rushed up. Seeing the standoff, their faces fell. My father, Richard Thorne, grabbed my arm with a grip of steel. Julian, calm down. It's the big day. It's just money. I have my car. Pay them. Don't let the guests see a joke. He fumbled for his wallet. My mother stood by, eyes red, trembling. Victor Sterling, Isabella's father, stepped forward, frowning. Chloe, girls, that's enough. Open the door. His voice held authority, but to these crazed bridesmaids, it meant nothing. Uncle Victor, Chloe said, feigning grievance but remaining firm. We're doing this for Bella. Just 100 grand. It's the rule. You. Victor was struck speechless, his face turning purple. Chloe, maybe? Isabella's mother, a timid woman, tried to interject. Auntie, Chloe cut her off sharply. Stay out of this. It's a matter of principle. If Julian doesn't have the sincerity now, how will he treat Bella later? She pointed a finger at me, eyes sharp as knives. Julian, yes or no? One word. Don't waste our time. All eyes focused on me. The anxious, pleading looks of the elders, the angry, stifled looks of the groomsmen, the greedy, malicious gaze of Chloe, and the amused, expectant smile of Isabella. Time seemed to solidify. My father's hand froze halfway to his wallet. All the surrounding noise, the persuasion, the accusations, Chloe's clamoring, even Isabella's light laughter, receded like a tide, leaving only a sharp, continuous buzzing vibrating in my brain. The string of reason snapped. Snap! It was a clear, audible break in the depths of my mind. The accumulated rage, humiliation, and the cold realization of betrayal burst through the dam. A inhuman growl erupted from my throat. I violently shook off my father's grip. The force was so great that he stumbled and was barely caught by Carter and my mother. Amidst everyone's horrified gazes, before the triumph on Chloe's face could shift, my body uncoiled like a loaded spring. My right fist, carrying the scream of tearing air, smashed forward without reservation. The target, Chloe Vane's greedy, malicious face. Crunch, a dull, heart-stopping thud. It wasn't just the sound of flesh, it was the sickening, audible crack of structure, like porcelain shattering under a sledgehammer. Time stretched. Chloe's sneer disintegrated. Her eyes bulged to their limits, filled with incomprehensible horror and agony. Her mouth, painted red, twisted into a grotesque, and several bloody, white fragments mixed with saliva flew from her forced open jaw. Her body lost all control, like a ragdoll hit by a truck. She flew backward. Crash! Smash! She slammed into a glass vanity table behind the door. The glass exploded. Bottles of perfume and makeup launched into the air like fireworks, raining down on the floor, the walls, and Isabella's pristine white dress. Colorful powders and liquids splattered everywhere. Chloe slid down into the mess of shards and stains, motionless. Her face, center on her nose, caved in with a terrifying, unnatural depression. Dark, viscous blood gushed from her ruined nose and split lips, spreading across her face and pink dress. The room went dead silent. Absolute vacuum. No laughter, no screaming. Just heavy breathing and the faint click of glass shifting as Chloe twitched. The bridesmaids who had been cheering were frozen, their faces masks of terror. They stared at the bloody heap, then at me, shaking violently, unable to utter a sound. Isabella's parents turned paper white. Victor Sterling's hand was still extended, his mouth agape. My parents were thunderstruck. My father looked at me with disbelief and despair. My mother collapsed, held up by relatives, tears streaming silently. And Isabella, the bride who thought it was so fun, her smile shattered. Her eyes were wider than I'd ever seen them, pupils constricting in terror, reflecting my figure in Chloe's blood. Her dress was stained, but she didn't notice. She sat there, rigid like a broken doll. Time felt like a century. I slowly retracted my fist. My knuckles burned, skin broken by Chloe's teeth, or bone, blood oozing. But I felt no pain, only a cold numbness and a strange post-destruction calm. I looked down at the boutonniere on my chest. It was perfectly straight, red, ironic. Under the terrified gazes of everyone, I raised my hand. I ripped it off. Rip. The fabric of the tuxedo, tore slightly. I held the red flower, glanced coldly at the pale Isabella, the unconscious Chloe, the trembling bridesmaids, and the horrified elders. I dropped it. The flower landed on the dusty floor. There is no wedding. I turned around, pushed past the stunned groomsmen and the elders, and walked toward the stairs. My heavy footsteps echoed like a drumbeat. Behind me, the silence broke. "Julian, stop!" my father roared, his voice cracking with despair. "So, where are you going?" my mother wailed. "Julian, you hurt someone. You can't leave," Victor Sterling bellowed. "Chloe, call 911. The bridesmaid screamed. Bella, are you okay?" And finally, Isabella's belated scream, sharp and distorted with panic. "Julian, come back. Are you crazy? Julian." The voices surged like a tide, trying to drag me back. But I didn't listen. I walked faster. I stormed out of the villa into the blinding sunlight. The fleet of flower-adorned cars looked like a joke. I ignored everyone and found Carter's black SUV, his personal car, undecorated. I got in. The keys were in the ignition. "Jules, wait." Carter ran out, breathless. I started the engine. The roar drowned him out. I floored the gas. The SUV lunged like a beast, tires screeching, knocking over a row of pink balloons, and sped away. In the rearview mirror, the villa, the starting point of happiness, shrank into a blurred, disgusting stain. The world was finally quiet. A thought, like a venomous snake, coiled around my heart. Game over? No. My game has just begun. Chloe, Isabella, none of you will escape. The engine's roar tore through the false tranquility of the suburbs. The black SUV was a shadow of vengeance, cutting onto the main highway. The windows were up, sealing me in, but they couldn't block the metallic scent of blood from my knuckles or the hollow ache in my chest. In the mirror, the villa was gone. Only the rushing road remained. FCK. I slammed my fist on the steering wheel, the horn blaring a long, mournful note. My phone vibrated violently. "Father, Mother, Isabella." I turned it off. Silence. Where to go? Home. The hotel? No. An address flashed in my mind. The West Side, the old abandoned industrial warehouse. It was an old property of Carter's family, our secret hideout years ago. Remote, quiet, safe. I swerved onto the exit ramp. The massive iron gates were rusted shut. I used the spare key Carter gave me years ago to heave them open. The smell of rust and dust hit me. I locked the heavy doors from the inside. The world was shut out. I collapsed onto a dusty sofa in the center of the vast space. I looked at my right hand. The blood had dried dark red. This hand had just crushed a face. Was it fun? I whispered to the empty warehouse. "Isabella, watching me dance like a monkey, was it fun?" No answer. A cold hatred, poisonous and tight, wrapped around my heart. Not just for Chloe, but for Isabella, the woman I trusted. In her eyes, my dignity was worth less than her friend's amusement. I turned my phone back on. Notifications exploded. I ignored the family and called Carter. He picked up instantly. "Jules." Carter's voice was frantic. "Where are you? You know what you did? Chloe has a shattered nasal cavity, fractured orbital bone, 3 missing teeth, and a severe concussion. She's in surgery. The Sterlings are going nuclear. The police are looking for you." "Shut up." My voice was an ice pick. "I'm at the old warehouse." The line went silent. The warehouse. "Jules, stay there. I'm coming. Don't do anything stupid. We can fix this." "Feeks." I laughed, a sound void of warmth. "Carter, do you think there's anything left to fix?" Carter fell silent. He knew me. He knew that punch wasn't impulsive. It was a declaration of war. "Listen," I said, calm and cold. "I need you to do a few things. Now, tell me." Carter's voice dropped, resolute. "First, use every contact you have. I want dirt on all the bridesmaids. Names, jobs, bank statements, affairs. Especially Chloe Vane. I want her entire family history, including her shady father." "Got it." "Second, give me a lawyer. Not for assault. A corporate shark. Someone who knows how to bury money and people legally. Money is no object. Corporate." Carter paused. "Okay, I know a guy. Silas Graves. He's a cleaner. Expensive." Third, I looked at the dusty machines. "Bring me tech. Untraceable phones, high-spec laptops, and a large safe. Bring it here." "Jules." Carter hesitated. "What are you going to do?" "What am I going to do?" I stood up into a shaft of sunlight. "They destroyed my life. Now it's my turn. I'm going to make them wish they were dead." "Okay," Carter said. I hung up. I looked through the crack in the iron door at the gray sky. The fire of revenge burned cold. "Chloe, Isabella, enjoy your last moments of peace." The heavy iron door groaned as Carter slipped inside, carrying 2 massive duffel bags. Behind him walked a man in a sharp gray suit and gold-rimmed glasses, Silas Graves. "Jules," Carter said, nodding at the man. "This is Attorney Graves." Graves scanned the warehouse, his gaze clinical. "Mr. Thorne. Mr. Graves." I skipped the pleasantries. "My situation is simple. I need legal cover and an offensive strategy." "Go ahead." Graves pulled out a tablet. "First, regarding Chloe Vane. I don't care if they charge me with assault. I want the result to be self-defense or provoked negligence. Drag the process out. Stall until they break." Graves adjusted his glasses. "The witnesses are a problem, but we can drag it out. It requires resources. Money isn't an issue. Get it done." "Understood." Graves took notes. "Second," I pointed at the bags. "I need an offshore shell company structure. Layered. Hidden. I need clean accounts to move massive capital." Graves looked up, intrigued. "This implies complex acquisitions." "Hostile takeovers," I corrected. "I'm going to buy some distressed assets. Specifically, Vane Construction, Chloe's father's company, and eventually Sterling Corp." The warehouse went silent. Carter gasped. "Graves post, calculating. I can set up the structure, but for the takeovers, you need a financial team. Carter will provide the intel. You find the team. Double commission for discretion." "Done." Third, my eyes narrowed. The Bridesmaids. Lisa Vance, Jasmine Starr, Whitney Ross. I want to destroy them, professionally and socially. "That's risk management and PR warfare," Graves noted. "Risky. The fire is already burning," I said, looking out the window. "I just want to control the direction of the wind." Graves stood up, closing his tablet. "Understand the scope. The cost will be significant. I can afford any price, as long as they pay 1,000 times more." Graves nodded, a glint of appreciation in his eyes. He left with the preliminary data Carter handed him. Carter and I were alone. "Jules." "Don't ask if I'm sure." I cut him off, unzipping the bags to reveal stacks of cash and satellite phones. "Where's the file on Chloe?" Carter handed me a thick folder. "It's all there. Chloe, her dad, Big Mike Vane, Vane Construction. They are rotten to the core." I flipped through the file. Tax evasion, shoddy materials, gambling debts. Cash flow is tight. I pointed to a report. "They're betting everything on the city municipal project bid?" "Yeah," Carter said. "If they lose that bid, they fold." I picked up a red marker and drew a heavy X over the project name. "Then let's help them fold." I picked up the satellite phone and dialed a number. "Tony." A gruff voice answered. "Who's this?" "It's Julian Thorne. I have a job. The city municipal project. Vane Construction is bidding. I want them out." Tony laughed. "Big Mike? He's desperate for that. Make sure his bid fails. Or make sure he's disqualified. I'll cover your potential losses plus 30%. 30%? You got a deal, Mr. Thorne." I hung up. "First cut," I told Carter. "Right at the jugular. What next?" "Chloe likes money." I looked at a photo of her in the hospital bed. "Let's make sure she never sees a dime again. Let her wake up to bankruptcy." Time became a blunt instrument. The warehouse was my command center. Screens glowed with financial data. Carter was my runner. "Jules." It worked. Carter burst in, waving a document. "The city project. Vane Construction is out. Tony's guys sabotaged the bid paperwork, and Grandview Construction, Tony's shell company, won it." Big Mike Vane collapsed at the bidding hall. Vomited blood. Ambulance took him away. I watched the surveillance feed of Vane Construction's office. Chaos. Creditors banging on the doors. "Good. Let the fire spread. Tell the loan sharks it's time to collect." Carter grinned. "On it." Faith chimed in via encrypted video link. "Mr. Thorne, Phase 1 against the Bridesmaids is complete. Report. Lisa Vance, the one at the education board. Evidence of her husband taking bribes and her pulling strings for school admissions has been sent to the ethics committee and local forums. Her husband is suspended. She's being investigated. The internet is eating them alive." I watched the forum thread scroll by. Corruption in our schools. Jasmine Starr, the influencer. Her past as an escort, the botched surgeries, and the fake giveaways, all leaked to major gossip blogs. Her accounts are banned. Sponsors are suing. Whitney Ross, the one going to grad school. Her father embezzled funds to pay her tuition. We sent the proofs to his company and her university. Admission revoked. Father arrested. Efficient, I said. And Chloe? She's alone in the hospital. Her mother is suicidal from the debt collectors. Her brother was arrested for possession last night. No one is visiting her. A photo appeared on screen. Chloe, bandaged, staring at the ceiling with dead eyes. "Make sure she stays isolated," I said. Now the Sterlings. We've prepared the short-selling strategy, Graves said. But Sterling Corp is bigger than Vane. Capital isn't an issue. I looked at my offshore balances. I want to uproot them. Start with the rumors. The Eco-City project violations. Understood. Also, Graves paused. What about the gift for Ms. Sterling? Send it. I typed a command. A dossier of Isabella's spending. My supplementary car records. Handbags, jewelry, first-class trips. Title it, The $1 Million Bride, a pre-wedding spree. Send it to her father and to the press. It will be brutal, Graves noted. That's the point. The air in the warehouse hummed with the sound of cooling fans. On the screen, Sterling Corp's stock chart began to bleed. A slow decline turned into a jagged red cliff. Jules, it's starting, Carter yelled. The news hit. Sterling Corp in environmental scandal. And the tabloids picked up the credit card story. The spendthrift princess. The internet hates her. I watched the stock plummet. How's the short position? Up massive. Should we cash out? No. Wait for the panic. At the Sterling mansion, panic was the only reality. You ungrateful, stupid girl. Victor Sterling screamed, throwing a porcelain cup at the wall. Look at this. The whole world thinks we're crooks, and you're a parasite. Isabella huddled on the sofa, pale and trembling. Dad, I didn't know. You provoked Julian. You and that trash friend of yours. Victor clutched his chest. His phone rang. It was his VP. Mr. Sterling, the SEC is here. They're seizing records. The stock is crashing. What? Victor staggered, his face turning gray. He collapsed, gasping for air. Dad, Isabella screamed. In the warehouse, the stock hit the limit down. Jules! Victor Sterling was just rushed to the hospital. Heart attack. A pity, I said, voice flat. I hope he survives long enough to see the end. I turned on my burner phone. Dozens of messages from Isabella. Julian, please stop. I'm sorry. My dad is dying. Please answer me. I dialed her number. She picked up instantly, weeping. Julian, please, I beg you, stop this. For the sake of our love. Love. I laughed coldly. Isabella, when Chloe demanded 100 grand and you sat there laughing, saying it was fun, where was the love? Her sobbing stopped, replaced by terrified breathing. Your father's heart failed because of his greed. Your family is falling because they are corrupt. And you. I paused. Enjoy the fall, princess. Enjoy being poor. I hung up. Outside, rain began to pour, washing the city in gray. The rain lashed against the windows. Update. Graves' voice cut through the room. Mike Vane died at 3:17 a.m. Multiple organ failure. His assets were auctioned off. His wife jumped from their apartment building this morning. Photos flashed on the screen. A death certificate. A police scene. Chloe's brother was stabbed in jail. Critical condition. And Chloe. Graves switched the feed. A secure psychiatric ward. Chloe was in a straitjacket, thrashing, screaming silently. Diagnosed with severe PTSD and psychosis. She's institutionalized indefinitely. I watched her bang her head against the padded wall. The Sterling Group filed for bankruptcy yesterday, Graves continued. Victor is alive but incapacitated. The mansion is seized. Isabella and her mother moved into a rental in the slums. A grainy photo showed Isabella in a cheap coat, buying wilted vegetables, looking like a ghost. Target destroyed, Graves said. Good work. I closed the connection. I walked to the safe. Inside lay a plastic bag containing Chloe's broken teeth, a copy of the bankruptcy filing, and a photo of Isabella laughing at the wedding. I took out a lighter. I burned the photo. Watching Isabella's smile turn to ash, a roar of laughter erupted from my throat. It echoed in the empty warehouse, loud and terrifying. I had one. I dialed Carter. Book a table. The best wine you can find. We're celebrating. The Apex Club. Top floor. The city lights sprawled below like a sea of diamonds. I sat at a large table with Carter. A decanter of Romane Conti breathed beside a chilling bottle of Dom Perignon. Carter poured the red wine. To victory, Jules. We clinked glasses. The wine was heavy, complex, tasting of blood and earth. You should have seen the eviction, Carter grinned. Isabella, crying on the curb. I sipped the wine, staring at the cityscape. The door opened. Graves entered, followed by two security guards dragging a woman in a filthy hospital gown. Chloe. She was drugged, limp, her face bandages stained yellow and red. When she saw me, she screamed. Ah, devil, keep away. She scrambled backward on the marble floor, slipping in her own filth. Chloe, I said softly. She froze. Look at me. She trembled, lifting her ruined face. The arrogance was gone, replaced by pure madness. At the wedding, I said, you asked for cash. You asked if I was sincere. Her eyes widened. Now I pointed to my shoe. Lick it clean. Lick it, Agar barked. Chloe whimpered, her mind shattered. She crawled forward, sobbing, and lowered her tongue to my polished leather shoe. It was the ultimate submission. You laughed then, I said. Now it's my turn. I grabbed the bottle of Dom Perignon. Splash. I poured the icy, golden champagne over her head. The bubbles fizzed on her wounds. She shrieked, curling into a ball as the expensive wine washed away the filth and blood. I stood over her, glass of Romane Conti in hand, watching her writhe. The city lights reflected in the puddle of champagne and misery. This was the taste of vengeance, and it was sweet. Story complete part 2. Mandatory separators.